So let's weigh up Gary Neville joining the Labour Party and getting political. It's a good one for me, that, because it's like, that is in my wheelhouse. It's something that I've only just read about it just in the last hour or so. There's a bit of coverage of it. So it's like, oh right, okay, this is a fun one, because it's like, in my experience of this world, Gary Neville is actually a figure who actually has had an impact on my life directly. Played against him once, and he went on to be he went as far in the game as any player with the basic set of skills could go. They used to sing about him: if the Nevilles play for England, so can I. To mock him. But I'd played against him, and I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, if the Nevilles play for England, so can you. It's like, but the differences between you and him is it's a difference between me and Gary Neville, is that when I was 14 on a Friday night, I'd have to be home by 10, so it's like we'd start drinking early at about 6. I might drink 3 cans of fucking Long Life lager or something like that, and be blind drunk and sneaking past parents, trying not to look pissed, and sneaking off up into rooms to go to bed early, to get up in the morning to do your kid job that funded your drinking and football. Age 14, so that was me. While I was doing that, Gary Neville was probably fucking training. Gary Neville was probably running around the park. When I was loafing about playing computer games, he was playing football. When I was playing football, he was playing football. He took it more seriously than anyone else did. And having been someone who once played against him, I think he deserved his place, and I always had respect for him, because it's like, I played against the team he played for. They were called Heaton Park. I'll have been about 14, same age as him. We had the same age. It's like, it's funny how many people who were in the northwest of England competed directly against people who ended up being famous, whether you played against Scholes, but Neville, they made it. And in the case of Gary Neville, you can tell why. He was dedicated to it, and it paid off. And his dedication to that, it wouldn't have mattered if he hadn't been a footballer. He'd have probably still done all right, because he applied himself. And with him applying himself, well, he could apply himself to something else, which I'm sure he does. It's like, if the Nevilles play for England, so can I. It's like, if I'd have known that sooner, I'd have looked to a guy like him, like, hang on a minute, how come he's in a side that's winning and I'm on the losing team? It's like, he tries harder than you. He works harder at his game than you. He keeps himself in shape. He doesn't get involved in bullshit. Doesn't get involved in socialising with idiots. He wants to be a footballer. And it's like, look at a guy play. It's like, I watched him play for the best part of 10 years. I'm like, he'll do for me. And you're like, there's plenty better than him. I'm like, no better. Why? It's like, because he's a basic player. He does everything well. Nothing fancy. And he knows his limitations, and he plays to his strengths. And it's like, you'd be surprised how strong a powerful influence Gary Neville was. He was focused. He didn't fuck about. He was determined, always focused, because he had to be, because he'd always been a player of lesser ability. But a fucking dogged defender. So I wonder if Gary Neville remembers, I was playing for a team called, Rochdale League, called Town Taxis. We played against Heaton Park in a Lancashire Cup game, and we never usually entered that competition because it meant sometimes a bit too much travelling. Go up Preston and the like. So we played at their pitch, and the game was 0-0, and neither team had ever seen each other before, so they didn't realise that we were a bit of a fragile side. So they treated us with respect right from the start of the game. And we had dangerous players if we could get them on the ball, but it's a matter of, we had a few. They had to basically weigh up that our fullbacks were shit, and that our midfielders didn't track back, and they win. So it's a matter of they don't know how bad we are, so it's a matter of they treat us with a bit of respect. So they didn't really pile into us so early on, or the pressure that they put us under, we were able to quite easily deal with. And they just poked and prodded and poked, and they played nice football, and it's like, this is not going so bad for us this game. And then I had ball. I'm saying fullback, but I'm playing a right back. And I had ball at my feet, loose ball, and I hammered it into the feet of my centre forward, who back in them days, team would play a high line, and he laid it back on him. I'd carried on running after I laid it to him. And he laid it back into my path, and I got clear through on goal. Now, if you're a right back and you get yourself clear through on goal, and I was running with the ball as fast as I can run, and I'm not an easy man to stop when I'm running at full tilt with a football, Gary Neville just clipped my heels, sent me to the ground, professional foul. And he got it so easy, it was like, I had it where, hey, I'm through it, and then down, right? He didn't chase me down and fucking scythe me. He got me just in that second where I'm not getting. It weren't a red card then anyway. He might have got a booking for it, but he just saw that I was like, "Go, I'm going." It's like, "No, you're not." Bang, get him. And he says to me, "Don't do that again." And that was it. That was the end of the game. It's the last thing I remember about that match. We got beat 4-0. We didn't even, I don't think, mount another attack. But when we did, he fucking snuffed it out like shit. It's like, I had to admire him. That was a brilliant piece of defending. I'm like, shh, you can tell why he's a good one. And won. I can cry all day and night that he robbed me of a chance of, if we'd have gone 1-0 up, who knows what happened. If I'd have burst through it right back in front of the sort of people who had Gary Neville in their side, right, at the time, it would have been a matter of, we need to sign that right back and convert him into a right-sided striker. It's like, why you can't stop him when he's on the move with the ball. You see that goal he scored? It had given me the opportunity to showcase in that moment all of my ability on a game of football. And damn right, every player in the world fancies themselves clear through on goal in a big game. Back in them days as to where pace on the ball in them sort of situations, get you where you're going, can you finish? And it'd be a matter of, I've been chipping goalkeepers with my dad in Scotland for about a week. Just same finish, same finish, same finish, same finish. As my dad taught me a few tricks. How to compensate for my weak left foot, and how to chip a goalkeeper, how to deceive and chip a goalkeeper. So I only had one move in mind when I'm going through. I'm like, I'm just going to run 10 yards and chip him, but it's going to be over in 5 seconds. He put me on my arse in one, and I kind of landed in it, and I was full tilt, so I kind of landed on my head, like, poof. And like, getting up like that, and it's a matter of what the fuck happened. And I look up and I've got this guy who ended up playing like a fucking hero a few times for England in like World Cup matches. Anyone realise how well he played against them Argentines in that game where Beckham got sent off back in like 2000-ish. So people recognise just how well he played at centre half for England. It's like, ooh, what a game he had. He had a game of his life. It was fantastic. Entire match was just brilliant. You're like, yeah, he kicked me on my face once, and then you'd see him play. I'd see him play and be thinking, yeah, he's right enough, Neville. You can trust him. You know what he is. He fucking means it. He applies himself. He's focused. He's intelligent. And when I see him do it to some like back in the day, some like Janino dropped him on his face, bang! I'm like, you don't fuck with him. It's like he means to bring you down when he brings you down. It's like he's got an eye for it. He reads the game. He smells a bit of danger and has that magical ability to. And would take right. Something else to take from my experience with Gary Neville. Not frightened of hurting someone. Given opportunity to in a game of football, he would hurt his opponent. He was a hard fucker. And he wouldn't cry baby if somebody kicked him. And it's like, you know, that's exactly the same on-field discipline as what I was taught. That's how I was taught how to play by the same generation of people in the same... He's a burial at them from Rochdale. Same setups. That's how they taught us how to play. So, same age me as Gary Neville. And once upon a time, actually equal with him in an honourable game of football where we got routed in the end, but at 0-0, just had a glimmer of hope until he snuffed it out. It's like, well, that's the difference between amateur football and professional football. Look at him, look at you. Who were you then? Oh, well, I was an idiot with dreams who didn't take it seriously because didn't know what seriously meant, didn't know what focused was, didn't understand that things pay off if you work hard. Didn't understand that. Or not properly anyway, against someone who knew that. You're dead. They're going to beat you. Wants it more, means it, plays harder. I thought I could play hard, and then I played against Gary Neville and was shown, oh shit, right, that's how you play hard, okay. How far did he go in game? Just being hard as a nail. He retired when he was like 32, having been, you know, wear and tear had got to him. Wear and tear got to him roughly about the same age as he got to me. For playing myself. Funny old game, isn't it? Because even though he played for Man United and I just kicked around with blokes from pubs and the like, we had careers, we all played football. All had the same addiction, all watched it. Now, I get to where I'm sceptical of Gary Neville having talked glowingly about his legacy as a football supporter, because I'm a fan who played, and there are many fans who played. There are many kids who dreamed, which is a thing as to where it's always very illuminating to me how you get guys who does appear to have some nice touches, like Gad Sad, and he talks up, I could have been a professional footballer. It's like, you know, that might be something interesting to say from Canada, but it's like in a place like Rochdale, it's like everybody had a chance. Everybody thought they had a chance. In fact, everybody did have a chance. It was a matter of old games teacher of mine who I liked. I liked him because he put me in a school football team, and he was always fair. He'd beat you, but he was fair. You don't get too many walks off him if you conducted yourself properly. And I put it to him one day, I said, have you got any good prospects coming through at the school? And he says, John, he says, there's always good prospects. He says, you're a good prospect. Everyone's a good prospect. There's always potential. As long as there's people, there's potential, and there's always good prospects. It's whether you choose to press on with it. Now, this is a guy who at the time was bringing through that Axel Twanzebe had just come through his school, and he's the head of like PE games. So it's like a lad who had him as the same game teacher as me, and he's on loan at Roma now. Probably no better or worse. He's a better player than Harry Maguire. No better or worse than anyone else who plays for United. It's like he came through the schools in Rochdale, all the way to the top, signed pro, Man United, well-known player. Now, but it's a matter of him. It's like he wasn't just best footballer in school. He was also best at running, best cross-country runner, and rated top in everything that he attempted. And did his schoolwork as well, and didn't mess around with girls, and didn't smoke, and took what he was doing seriously. And his mother and father were always there for him, and were always really proud of him. And it's a matter of foundation. So it's a matter of, by the time someone like Gary Neville became a pro, that strength of foundation that makes the player who makes it, he had that. And it's like he's put, if you've got a parent who I want you to be a footballer, loads of I'm sick of hearing it from guys who've got kids who say, I want my kid to play football. So did you play? And it'd be a matter of, you getting it wrong here. And it's like, you want your grandson. It's like, you're not a player. You didn't get anywhere. It's like, you want your grandson to be the guy. You want your grandson to be the guy who makes it. You can aspire to that, but you get it as some dads excel at creating young footballers. Gary Neville's parents did. So it'd be a matter of, in their own way, would never in their lives have been starved of attention. They had a dad who taught them how to play football and then supported them at every turn. Give them a good home and foundation, and be a matter of, wow, he gave his kids opportunity in life. It's like, with limited talent, blasted their way through the competition, won, proved themselves, and have got like a house full of medals to prove it. So it's like, you can't ignore Gary Neville when he decides he's going to say something. You can't. He has the right to say, in view of where he came from, as to say he's one of us. He is the same person as he would have been when he was running around the park, playing football with his mates, robbing opponents of chances of glory. You know what I mean? It's like, he can, in a strange old way, cut the divide or even create a bridge between two worlds. The one where he was raised and the one where he now has access to, the wider. I'm just curious as to what, and this is the thing, I'm just curious as to what Gary Neville thinks the world is. And I'd want to quiz him, to be honest. Because as someone to jump on the woke bandwagon, he'd be a dangerous player to be in opposition to. I would rather support him than be on the opposite side of Gary Neville if he's going to join, if he has joined the Labour Party. and have political aspirations. I'd like to know right now what Gary Neville knows, what he thinks he's getting involved in. Whereas he might know a person or two and have heard a thing or two, he hasn't been keeping his eyes on the local world quite as carefully as some others have. As to what does he think this is? What does he think he's doing? What does he mean to do? And it's a matter of if he wants to play Captain Walk, Mr. Green, right? He is a devastating signing. A devastating signing. Already hugely a divisive figure. He's respected, but he's divisive as hell. People listen to him, but they won't have to agree, but they'll listen. For him to turn into the new mouthpiece of the woke would be an absolute catastrophe. It's like, he's dangerous if he's that guy. Now, if he's got some high-minded plan as to I can reform the Labour Party from within, it's not all crazy and woke, right? I commend that because he's one of a few people who may be able to pull that off. Because of his force of will, obviously, he knows how to apply himself. He's got experience of a few different worlds, hasn't he? So it's like, I wouldn't write the guy off, but I just don't know. If he's someone who can think up to a point and then the whole thing shuts down when we get to talk about trigger subject racism, if he's someone who can be in that way quite easily motivated, it'd be just a tragedy to see someone who's respected, who could do something decent or good, right, end up just being a tool of the fucking woke mob. That'd be horrible to see. You see, I don't want that. You read that Gary Neville is entering politics at the state of Greater Manchester politics at this moment in time, and you think, what have you got to say, Gary? What do you know? Tell us something. Teach us something about you we don't already know. You join the Labour Party. Do you know what the Labour Party stand for these days, mate? Do you know who they are? Do you know what they do to us? You know that they're not the party of the working class people. They're the party that claims to represent them. They're not of us. So it's like, you might have a rude awakening when you get to know the people have. You find how ridiculous some of them are. And it'd be a matter of, hey, welcome to a real fight. And then it'd be a matter of, don't know how long you're going to be in the Labour Party for, mate. Or whether it'll all just bow down for you. So I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know whether to be disappointed that someone who, I mean, let's have it right, it's like, I might be no one, but I know more of what the world is and has been than Gary Neville does. How can you say that, John? It's like, I've had best part of 2 decades to do whatever I've wanted. I've indulged myself. I've been away and I've found out things. I understand how things work. I've noticed certain patterns. I've been following things that not everyone follows. And I see it from a different perspective. And it'd be a matter of, I can't believe that he might have found the time in his life to have gained a fucking education like the one I've had. Because the education like the one I've had would have made sure he never ended up being a professional footballer. Being the difference between the two men on that field. I didn't waste my time. It's a life lived, isn't it? And it'd be a matter of, the Labour Party do not need a boon right now. They need a destroyer. And you could be it.